Welcome, Winnie. How are you, mate?
I am well, thanks, Martin. Yourself?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. All right, to everyone here. Look, welcome to Borders and Beyond. We're here to talk about the IPL, and obviously it's mid-tournament. Well, not mid, the beginning of the tournament, and we're also going to look at a couple of other things that is going to probably affect the tournament in a bit more on a geopolitical view. However, just to give you a bit of a quick synopsis, this is the 2026 IPL season that has emerged as a landmark tournament defined by unprecedented viewership, technological disruption, and the rise of teenage prodigies. As of mid-April 2026, the Rajasthan Royals are on top of the table. They haven't lost a game, and obviously it's a perfect and a good start. And obviously the person driving this is a prodigy by the name of Vaibhav Suryawanchi. And to talk a little bit more about this tournament, to talk about Vaibhav and all the great things that are happening in the IPL, I have with me the resident expert, Vinny. Welcome, Vinny.
Thank you, Martin. Times are tough when you associated me with us with an expert of any type. So that's never a good sign.
Well,
But look, always a pleasure to be on the pod.
absolutely, mate. And it's good to always have you. And, I know a little bit, but I know you know a lot more. And it's great to have you. And obviously, just to give for our viewers, I just want to say this is take three. We've attempted it three times and twice it failed. One reason after the other. And as we are, it's a pretty dreary day here in Melbourne. We started off outside, started pouring down raining, then we went inside, and there's a bit of drama, and obviously now we're just decided, all right, we'll do this online. It's a lot easier,
Third time
and
lucky.
and as a result, we're doing it online. So, well, mate, take it over and run with it, mate.
Now, also, Martin, in your sort of introduction, you talked about the technological disruption. We have different types of disruption. The first one
Indeed.
was beyond our control, weather
Yep.
elements stepped in.
Yep.
The second one was definitely technological.
Yep.
And then here's hoping third time lucky.
Indeed. Indeed.
Uh, but look, it almost feels like it was only 48 hours ago, Martin, that
Yep.
we were talking about the T20 World Cup. But
Yep.
such is the juggernaut that is cricket, such is the juggernaut that is franchise cricket,
Yep.
that we've barely sort of, let that feeling sink in that we've already commenced on another global tournament, the IPL, which is probably the biggest of the franchise world, if you like, in the T20 format. Um, we are about 2 weeks in already.
Hmm.
Truckload of games have happened. It's a long tournament. It's a very, really long tournament. And here we are, just to sort of give you a review. And look, as you mentioned, Martin, it's not just the tournament itself; it's the other external factors, the macro conditions surrounding the tournament as well, which is
Mm.
something that you and I would have never in our wildest dreams thought of previously as well. But look, just purely in terms of cricketing, in cricketing terms, rather, if you had asked me 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, even,
Yep.
right? If you had asked me, what were my top four teams to make it to the playoffs, right?
Yep.
I would have said, without flinching, I would have
Yep.
said number one would be, I would say, Mumbai Indians, purely based on the depth. Look, the depth of the squad, their history.
Hmm.
They looked primed. Last year they didn't have a great tournament, and you wouldn't put it past Mumbai Indians to bounce back really quickly. The depth, the strategies, all involved, and even considering the fact that in their playing level, you say majority of them are from a World Cup winning squad,
It
right?
is. Yeah.
They've hardly let that dust settle, and they've just come in. They've played pretty much on the same grounds as well. So just on that alone, my number two team would be RCB, purely for the fact that they are reigning champions, right? They are
Hmm.
the defending champions, rather,
Hmm.
defending the crown this year. They finally seem to have gotten the monkey off their bat.
Hmm.
Um, the women's have won the
The
trophy
World Cup.
twice. Yep, back to
Hmm.
back. Sorry, the
IPL trophy. Sorry. Yeah.
IPL trophy twice. The men, they seem to have discovered their mojo. They've discovered the squad. They've identified a winning formula, if you like.
Mm.
Um, my third team would be Punjab Kings. Now that's not a team that I normally would have chosen if a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
but on the back of last year, they were the runners up. Um,
Yeah.
but just as the duo, the partnership between Ricky Ponting as the coach and Shreyas Iyer as the captain, is just worked wonders. They look like a good squad. So I just think, I'm Shreyas Iyer, all said and done, he is someone that I follow really closely as well,
Mm.
beyond the IPL.
Yeah.
And the fourth team, um, is a bit of a it's an emotional choice. It's a bit of a head of heart over head rather thing. Look, in the history of the IPL so far, what are we in the 19th edition of the IPL?
Yeah.
Um, the two most successful franchises are the blue and yellow. Blue being Mumbai Indians, and yellow being Chennai Super Kings. All right. Uh, Now, admittedly, Chennai Super Kings didn't have a great tournament last year, but there was one. Chennai is, you and I are both from the south of India, a place called Kerala. Um, Chennai is sort of almost a extended family, if you like, in terms of the proximity. And two, I guess one, the man, the myth, the legend, the aura around MSD. I guess more importantly for you and I, from a personal point of view, Sanju Samson has now moved over to the Chennai Super Kings. Is now donning the yellow. Um, a local Keralite, a Mallu boy, a true blue Mallu, if you, Keralite, if you like. The player of the tour of the match, really, in the T20 World Cup final. The darling of the masses is now at CSK. So you think something along those lines. There's some magic that he brings to CSK. So anyway, I digress. I sort of got into a bit of got sidetracked. But yeah, my fourth team would have been CSK purely for emotional reasons.
Mm.
Um,
But here we are, mate. I mean, look at where the whole thing is standing. I mean, it's a bit strange, right? I mean, I find it difficult to even understand it myself. At the bottom of the list is KKR, right? And I'm like, how the hell did they end up there? And not far above them is the CSK guys, and then right above them is MI. I'm like, what is going on here? And then on top of it, on the number one scale, with absolutely no losses, was Rajasthan Royals, and guess who is opening for them? Jaiswal and Suryawanchi. Right? Amazing. Right? And
two
it's like you're looking
youngsters,
at, sorry,
two absolute youngsters.
absolute youngsters, right? One is 15 years old, the other one is 21 years old, right? So you have Rajasthan Royals, Punjab Kings, right? RCB, and these, well, then DC, Lucknow Super Giants, and Sunrisers
Yes,
Hyderabad. They're all those three. No, sorry, Royal Challengers Bangalore, uh, Delhi Capitals, and LSG are all on 4 points. The only thing that differentiate them is the
number of
what's it
games
called,
played.
yeah, the net run rate, NRR, right?
Net run rate and the games played as well, Martin. So
Oh yeah, yes,
RCB and Lucknow Super Giants have played one game less.
correct, yeah, yeah. So yeah, so that's basically so based on all that, those what's it called, those rankings are going to change, obviously.
Absolutely. The
But
standings,
you would not have expected this.
no.
Absolutely
Def-
not. You know.
I look, historically, Rajasthan Royals have always been a team that sort of builds this world-beating squad without having a bunch of superstars. Famously, they won the title in the first edition when Shane Warne was the mentor slash player of the team.
Yeah.
But not in my wildest dreams. Again, I'm not an would have expected Rajasthan Royals. Uh, Only because one, they have a new captain. This again, speaking of youngsters, Riyan Parag is now the captain of Rajasthan Royals. Has previously had no sort of captain. He did captain a couple of games last year, but that was when Sanju Samson was the incumbent captain of Rajasthan Royals last year.
Oh yeah.
And the only time Riyan Parag stepped in was when Sanju was injured, when he was off the field, and that's when Riyan Parag sort of deputized, if you like. So yeah, brand new this thing. So you have a new opening combination. Well, opening combination. So the team structure has changed. They've got Dhruv Jurel in. Um, yes, so Rajasthan Royals are sitting pretty on the top of the table with
Mm,
4 out of 4
mm.
and looking like a well-oiled machine, right? Not just like I know the headlines are Suryawanchi at the moment, but it's not just they're not just winning games on the back of their batting. They're winning the games on their sort of all-round team performance.
I agree. I agree. I mean, they are phenomenal performances, but the fact of the matter is, if, as you said at the beginning of this conversation, this body, you said if you were to pick it, you would. They were nowhere near the top four, right?
At least not this
And
year.
uh,
I wouldn't have
and
picked them.
and the bias is always towards foundation clubs, right? And all of a sudden, here you are, and the whole thing has been appended, and we have a bunch of youngsters. I mean, like Jaiswal himself is only 21 years old. Let's just put it that way, right? He's only 21 years old, and sh- he's he's been relegated to the background. Let's just you know, and the guy that everyone is talking about is Suryawanchi, right? 15 years old. He comes in, and look, it's not as if we didn't know about this kid. We knew about this kid from last year, but everyone thought, oh yeah, he's a flash in the pan kind of a thing.
Yes, yeah,
A- and me and you had that conversation, and you thought, oh, it was a flash in the pan. He rocks up this time. Obviously, he's got the pressure to perform, right? Because he has to prove that he wasn't the flash in the pan.
exactly. It wasn't a fluke.
It wasn't a fluke. And he rocks up, plays Bumrah for the first ball six. He plays Josh Hazlewood, takes him 4-4-4-6. I'm like, what? And you just kind of realize, okay, what is this? What?
It's
What? I mean,
it's
like, really?
it baffles. It is it's ridiculous. I'm not even sure how to unpack this, Martin. It makes no sense, right? Other than the fact that this kid is special. Now, in our previous episodes, we did talk about the new generation of cricketers that are coming through the ranks, right? Especially in India, especially through the IPL, right? The tournament, the production line that is the IPL. This is a breed of cricketers that you and I have not previously grown up in our generation. This is they play a brand of cricket that is it's almost not cricket at the same it's not traditional, it's not cricket, but it is cricket at the same time, if that makes sense. It
Yeah,
probably doesn't, but they're cut from a different cloth, Martin. These kids have no fear of repercussion. They are not chasing milestones. They are purely built around the mentality of maximizing their stay at the crease, right? Every ball that they see, they look at it as an opportunity. They do not look at it's a scoring opportunity.
yep,
Anything less than a 4 or 6 is almost deemed a failure. If they get in other formats, getting a single is or reducing the dot ball percentage is nice. Over here, it's not just reducing the dot ball percentage; it
yep,
is about maximizing. So if you've been here for 3 balls, 3 of 3 is considered a failure.
yep,
4 runs of 3 balls is considered a failure.
yeah.
Nothing less than 10 of 3 is considered
That's
acceptable.
right. Right. And let's talking about that. Like, I mean, in the game where he played RCB, wasn't it? Or Josh Hazlewood?
Correct.
He made
RCB,
78 runs in 25 balls, which
you
equates to
take it a
three.
step further. Sorry, that was the end. Sort of that was his final score. He had scored 50 of 15 balls, Martin.
Yeah,
Uh, I guess what I'm trying to say with that is, at any point when you dissect the innings, the strike rate is just ridiculous. Does that mean?
Forget the stride rate. I mean, like
I guess
what he's basically his return on investment for every ball delivered. He's delivering three runs at the minimum.
that's ridiculous.
That is insane. That is that's just insanity, right? For every single ball to him, he's giving you a return of 3 runs.
And the
What?
irony,
Yeah,
it's
it's just unbelievable numbers at this rate. I mean, the only thing you can look at is the next person that's going to deliver 4 runs per ball.
well, it's not even the next person, Martin. The question over here is 3.2 Suryavanchi's upper limit? Is that his ceiling? No,
No.
I don't even think he knows what his ceiling is. And it's not just, look, yes, he is gathering headlines at the moment, but there's a bunch of youngsters that are
Yep.
coming through the ranks that they probably haven't achieved the level of uh, success that Suryavanshi has, but they're
Yep.
not far off because they are playing a brand of cricket that is just insane.
Yep.
The bowler at the other end does not matter for them. It does not matter if it's a Hazelwood. Hell, it could even be just Glenn McGrath turning back the years and coming back. I mean, they don't care. There is almost a, and this is not them. It, there is a method to the madness. They've just gone. I'm here. Every ball needs to go for a 6 or 4. Nothing less than that. There is no thing of let's console. Let me block the first 2 balls and then make catch up for the score later on. Nothing. First ball, like you said, Bumrah. There is no concept of in his, and this is not him showing disrespect. In his head, he's thinking, that's 1 ball. Where is it? Is it in my hitting arc? Bang. That's all I care about.
Indeed. Look, I mean, this is the thing, right? It's a complete mind shift. Mind, it is where they've turned the whole thing upside down, right? So they
Mm.
moved from the legacy model of where we will try and
Putting up,
understand how.
correct,
Yeah, and we'll try and look at milestones. No, we're not interested in that. We're just going to see, wow, what is the maximum return I can get out of each single ball delivered. All
correct.
right.
It,
And when you have that kind of a attitude, then there's no fear. There's no fear of the person delivering the ball. All you're looking at is where are you going to deliver this ball and what can I make out of it? That's it. And if I go out trying, yeah, that's it. No worries.
simple, exactly. It's not about putting a price on your wicket. It's just about maximum returns, purely maximum
And
returns.
that actually goes with the model we talked about a couple of episodes back. We said the violence of intent model, right?
Mm,
Where it is now you can see it in full swing what is currently happening, the violence of intent model, and you then talking about the rate of return per ball, right? And so these two models combined together is what we're now seeing how the
mm.
Rajasthan Royal guys are just delivering. And this kid, this is the thing that really astonishes me. Let's not kid ourselves, right? When you were 15, I don't know whether you recall. Do you recall what you were doing? Because I don't, right? And I
Martin,
can honestly tell you there was not a chance in hell I was anywhere close to this kid. Not a chance, right?
put it this
I
way,
was
Martin.
I know for a fact I was a shithead, but
I
that's
still
just
am.
me, you know. And so here is this kid going into the professional leagues where you are now professionally managed at the age of 15 and doing what he's doing. And we're not talking, he's not doing it to unknowns. He's doing it to knowns, known
Martin,
bowlers,
that,
world
at
famous bowlers.
15, if I managed to put on matching pair of socks, I would consider that day a success.
Yeah,
Right? But this is a kid, and again, this is not overnight. There are going through the internet. There are videos of him at the age of 10, right? During COVID lockdown, he was as a 10-year-old in the, I want to say it was on the terrace of his house. His father had built some nets. All he's doing is just smashing balls. All he's looking at is just trying to hit. The kid is a unit. His upper body strength is just ridiculous. But he just gives it almighty whack. Now, like you said, last year he did have a couple of, phenomenal innings. But I'll be the first one to admit, I honestly said, look, yes, that's great. The challenge will be the year after, where he has to now, live up to his reputation. He's created a
that's
bit of,
right.
easier said than done. It's almost easier to create that sort of ripple but the
Yep.
hardest bit is to maintain it, right?
Yep. Indeed.
It's almost easy to, and I was, and the IPL is a premier tournament with the best of the best in business coming in, right? I thought,
Absolutely.
they've got a whole year, the likes of, Josh Hazelwood, you're talking of Bhuvaneshwar Kumars, your Mohammad Shamis of the world, your Jasprit Bumrah. They'll go, every franchise will now go, they'll analyze him, will find a chink in his armor, and they
Well,
will bring him down to earth. You don't have to look far enough. Remember, during the last Border Gavaskar Trophy, we had Sam Constas come in, do something similar to Jasprit Bumrah in one innings. Where is he now? He's not even in the list of probables. He doesn't have a contract. He's fallen. So it's easy to create that first initial impression. The hard bit is sustaining it.
but here's my challenge to you, though, bro.
Mm.
Here's my challenge to you. This kid is a known, as the famous Don Rumsfeld who said there was the known unknowns and the known knowns, right? You remember that statement
Yes,
before
yes,
the Iraq War? Well, we'll get there too. We'll talk about that
yes.
also. A little bit of the geopolitics and how this is going to stand out. Anyway, he was a knowns, right? He came into the IPL last year. Everyone knew and saw what he was capable of doing. Then he went and did the under 19 World Cup. Everyone saw it, and they knew he was part of this squad. So they would have analyzed this kid, left, right. Professional bowlers are not stupid. They would have said, "All right, I need to play this kid. I need to deliver balls that he's not going to make. He's not going to make me look like an idiot." And I can honestly say, one of the guys who can consistently deliver a ball at wherever he wants it, at the speed he wants it, at the position he wants it, is Bumrah. Right? He can consistently deliver that. Right? The one who was known to have done it before was Glenn McGrath. He could bowl it exactly the
Oh,
same place,
yeah.
bang, bang,
Even the
bang,
ball on
bang.
a string.
Right? But in the later, the world's greatest bowler right now is Jasprit Bumrah, and for him, he is a thinking bowler. He's not a bowler
He,
that just delivers balls. Right? Let's just keep that very, very honest with ourselves. He's a thinking bowler. This guy took him apart.
Martin, look, we we can sort of we can preface this argument and say, look, the wickets are a lot more batting friendly. There are sort of flat pitches at the moment. There's almost nothing. It's almost the worst time to be a bowler in this tournament, at least in the last editions of the IPL.
Mm.
All said and done, I think the more important thing is when you look beyond the score, right? You double click into the way he plays. There is a method to the madness. He is not just wildly slogging. Last year, I thought he was a bit of a slogger, which is what Abhishek Sharma was accused of, right? And look, he came apart during the T20 World Cup, right? His wheels came right apart. But this guy, there is Bumrah tried different tricks, right? That's not just, and again, look, on your day, it's your day. I get all of that, right? And T20 format is such. This guy just, there is a method to his madness, a slow, he's picking the balls from the bowler's hand. You don't have to go past. I guess where I was looking at as well, it's not the end result, is when he hits the ball for a maximum, for a four or a six, it's the reaction of the bowler. Josh Hazelwood, again, quality. He will have his time. He will come back. I know that. Such is the quality of the man. But there were moments during that game where Bumrah and Josh Hazelwood were just shaking their head and smiling, only because they're like, I honestly don't know what to do. I honestly, I, it's at some points, and this is, look, at some points you just doff your hat off and go, you're a genius. Simple. I'll have to come back with better plans. And, that's what it is. This kid, look, in all this noise, in this chaos, like like you said, right, Ranji pointed out, Yashasvi Jaiswal 3 years ago was, you know, the star, the shining star, the upcoming batsman. To be fair, he still is. You know, it's not like he's fallen off a perch. It's not like he's performing badly. Such as Suryavanchi's dominance, like you said, while Suryavanchi is scoring a 300 strike rate, this guy is still just Jaiswal is still scoring at close to 200, 180, 200 strike rate. But such is this guy's dominance that this guy's he's just pushed him off the plane altogether.
Indeed, indeed,
It's
and that's the thing. Like as I said to you, it's pure cinema. It's
it is.
absolute cinema because what you're witnessing is watching something that is called sheer entertainment. You're just watching and saying, what's the next ball like? Who is
Yes.
going to bowl this, and what is he? Where is he going to cart him to? Right? That's all you're looking at now. It's just like, all right, let's see who's ballsy enough to bowl to this kid, and where is he going to be carted to?
When he hits them, Mark, they stay hit.
It
It is we are sitting, miles away from where the action is. But even through the television screens, the sound it makes, it's almost demoralizing to the bowler.
I mean, like it really stays hit. I mean, like some of them are going to the third level of the stand.
It's
Right?
and that's the
It is
thing.
not a joke, mate. I mean,
Yeah,
six
Krillhat,
over the fence,
you can.
over the rope is okay. It's good. Don't get me wrong. But
Mm,
no, 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 no. Some of these hits are going to the third level of the stand. I mean, like the bat velocity,
the
the bat
bat speed,
velocity.
yeah.
That that's something else, dude. I mean, like it's what in heaven's name? I'm like, look, it's a marketer's dream, right? I mean, Rajasthan Royals. Let's just be honest. They signed him up for 1.1 crore, right? His estimated worth now, March worth, is 5.21. Talk of return on investment for those guys, right?
Yeah,
It's representing, it's an insane amount of, um, return on investment, right?
the
And
credit where
that's sorry,
credit
go on.
where credit's due. I was going to say credit where credit's due, Martin, is the scouting agency that identified Suryavanchi. He is not from your traditional cricket powerhouses in India, your Mumbai's or your Delhi's.
No.
Um, he is from a small town sort of village in Bihar. Um, Unassuming kid. Like, I guess what I'm trying to allude to over here is Sachin Tendulkar was a kid prodigy, right?
Yeah,
A child prodigy, right? He
yeah, he was a
broke
child
into the
prodigy.
national era at 16. But I guess what I'm trying to say is prior to that, he was spoken of in the press, right? Him and Vinod Kambli had that world record partnership, right? 600 run partnership or whatever, school. So, his name was in the media.
Mm-hmm.
So he was touted as the next big thing. Now, this kid has just Rajasthan Royals credit to them for identifying
Hmm.
and not only just look. I say easy. It's easier of the two to spot a talent and go, oh, this kid is good. But then to envision that this kid could be great, hats off to the people that scouted.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No joke. No, 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 no joke. And the fact that they paid 1.1 crore for him,
Mm,
and that bet has paid off to the point where
yeah.
I can honestly say, I look at it and say, as I said to you, it's pure cinema. You would
Mm,
have, it's not, it's easy to fill up stadiums in India,
yeah.
but the tickets would sell like hotcakes, dude.
Mm,
Watch
right?
this kid bat. Because everyone will be looking like, who is he going to take? Who is he going to take to town,
Yeah,
right? And
absolutely.
uh, and it's insane. It's just, I mean, and his partner in crime, Jaiswal.
Martin, if I told, look, let's try a thought experiment, not even a thought experiment, a hypothetical, right? If I had to, before this tournament started, if I gave you two boxes, right? Let's get
Yep.
rid of the labels, let's get rid of the teams. I
Mm.
just gave you box A, all right? In box A, you have um, Abhishek Sharma, Travis Head, and Ishan Kishan, right? Box B, right? Oh, forget box. You walk into a multiplex theater, right? Screen one has got Abhishek Sharma, Travis Head, and Ishan Kishan.
Yep.
Screen two, in the adjoining room, has got Yashasvi Jaiswal, Suryavanshi, and Dhruv Jurel. Which one would you pay to go
Oh, screen
watch?
one.
Screen
Without a
one,
doubt,
right?
I'll be running to screen one. I say, oh man, there's going to be cinema there.
This,
I'm going to watch that one. I'm going to watch that cinema. You know, I mean, I know for a fact that even the Abhishek, I can't buy a run, Sharma was there. I would have said, well, you know what? Maybe we can buy a run sometime. You know,
Uh,
yeah, but man, cinema two, jeez.
it's one of those silent sleeper hits sort of thing. But look, credit where credit's due, Martin. Like we said, it's the first season was a flat. You could argue it was a bit of a fluke. The fact of the matter is, this kid has managed to uphold his reputation. If anything, he's enhanced his reputation in season two.
Right.
Now, let's put a bit of a caveat on this. It's
Yeah.
only 4 games in. It's
Yes.
a long bloody tournament,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
As we say, in life, the higher the rise, the greater the fall, the harder the
Yes.
fall, rather.
The heart of the
Right?
four.
So
Yes.
let's, but look, let's not be doomsday conspiracy. Let's enjoy the ride while it can. Whilst
Indeed.
he is definitely at the top of his game at the moment. He's at
Yeah.
the top of his, he's at the peak of his powers.
Hmm.
Um, and I guess what we also have to see in here is this is what the brand new age T20 cricketer looks
Yeah.
like, right?
Yeah.
It's ironic that the best T20 batters in the world are left-handers. I can't think of I, any logical thing, but what we also have to see in here is Vaibhav Suryawanchi is one of many youngsters that are coming up through the ranks. But this guy's his rise is almost meteoric that everyone else seems insignificant, even though they are. You have a guy called Priyansh Arya, who for Punjab Kings, who is a gun player. He had a gun season last year. We've He's had a good couple of performances this year as well.
Hmm.
We are talking of regular, someone like Jaiswal again. He's one of the mainstays of the Indian batting for a long time to come. Only 21, he's being overshadowed. Let's look at our regulars. Someone Shubman Gill, who is the national captain in 2 out of the 3 formats in the national side, right? Who up until 8 weeks ago was the next best thing. He was supposed to be in the T20 World Cup. He got dropped. He's overshadowed. He's almost now has to earn his right to even get considered. He wasn't even part of the squad, right? Let's talk about the people that could be in there. Shreyas Iyer, right? He's nowhere in the mix. Rishabh Pant, right? Almost like the
No, I
he's
know.
he's nowhere in the mix. Like this is the sort of people competition they're having to fend off at the moment, right? Again, good thing. Competition is good, right? So what this means for someone like Suryavanshi is not to take anything for granted. There are people nipping at his heels, so to speak.
Hmm.
The
Indeed.
other day, Mukul Chowdhury, a kid that won a game from almost nowhere,
No. How was
a 21-year-old. Martin, and
how was
again,
that? How was that even possible? Look,
Martin,
he was. Look, like, the state saying snatching defeat in the jaws of from the
snatching victory from the defeat of Joe,
from
from
the
the
jaws
jaws of defeat.
defeat or whatever. How's that statement said? Something like
Oh,
in
it
that.
was a midnight heist, yeah.
It was what in heaven's name? This was like that. Again, that was also cinema.
Martin, you know what? It's something that you and I cannot comprehend, right? Now, previously, someone like a Sachin Tendulkar or your Gavaskars of the world, they went through the grind, right? They,
Yep.
worked their way through club cricket, through school cricket, through university cricket, and then these are kids that have got first class experience of all of like 5 games. They'll be lucky if they even made a Ranji debut. I think that Mukul Chowdhury, I could be wrong, has played about 3 first class games. Look at England's Jacob Bethel. He in the T20 World Cup had never played a first class game. His first class game was actually one of the internationals, and but now he scored 100 in all 3 formats. This is a different
I
now.
think
Prem Pratt.
basically,
Sorry,
sorry, mate. Basically, what it says is that the normal production factor is gone.
yeah,
The way you look at people is gone.
yeah.
You just you see someone, you see raw talent, and you say we can make something out of him. Bring him in the IPL, and Bob's your uncle. I mean, Same thing they did to Jasprit Bumrah, by the way. Don't let's not forget that.
Exactly. This Saudi. And look, they again. Jasprit Bumrah came from out of the blue. Literally, I think Mumbai Indian scouting camp, they picked him up, from one of the Maidans and said, bring him. I think John Wright saw him and said, there's something. Look, it's easy to say there's something in this kid, but it's up to the individual to then live up to that reputation, right?
Correct.
Case in point, look at this name, Prithvi Shaw. 5 years ago, he was the next best thing.
He
Seven
was
years
the
ago,
next
rather.
big thing.
Big thing, right here. Again, he was building
Yeah.
up a bit of reputation, just
He went to his head.
and I think that's what we need to be. Look, this is where um, the BCCI and everyone involved, especially the IPL, have to protect someone like someone like a Suryavanchi. One, like he said, the market value of Suryavanchi has gone through the roof. We haven't even talked advertising dollars. He's a young kid. The world is his,
Oyster.
proverbial oyster, right?
Mm.
And is there for the taking. This is where they need to rein him in. One, protect him from, like he said, getting to his head. The one of the drawbacks, and we sound like geezers, yeah, we are geezers. The challenge is not to sound like one, Martin, is to the IPL. It's the glitz and glamour. It's very easy to get sucked into the glitz and
Mm.
glamour of the IPL, unlike a tournament, because your stocks can rise overnight, can
Hmm.
also come crashing down overnight as well. But whilst it is there, because it's Bollywood movies, creme de la creme, paparazzi, showbiz meets cricket, you're in the public eye. It's very easy to sort of um, they fall into bad habits, right? Uh,
Hmm.
Prithvi Shaw, let not only get fame, get to his head, he started developing a bit of a reputation where he wouldn't even get along with the coaches. He was adamant that he had to be his own man. It's very easy to fall into that individualistic thing and not be a team person. So this is where the support structures have to really rein him in place. The other thing that they need to do now is, and I'm hoping this is what the BCCI and the selection committee and team management go into, is not fall into the trap, which is what we've done previously, of trying to make him into an all format player. Just because he's good in one format, you cannot extrapolate him into the other formats. It's working for him. Give him some time. Give him some time. Because what this all we haven't seen another thing that the IPL does, which is unique to everything else, is the impact sub. So what Rajasthan Royals is doing at the moment, Martin, is
Hmm.
especially when it comes to setting a score or first innings batting, is they just let him do his thing, and then once he's done, they just substitute him out. So what this is doing for him is one, it's robbing him of valuable match experience. So he's not on the ground during the second innings in the heat of the moment where he knows every single he has to field like a panther, right? Like a tiger,
Mm.
cut off the singles. In the heat of the moment of what it feels like to drop a catch. Not saying that but drop catches happen, right? The extra second it takes to run out a batsman throwing at the wrong end. All that is being robbed by him just doing what he does and then just sitting, cooling his heels
In the dugout.
in the dugout. So that's something that they need to understand as well. It's or even better, like practice on other skills beyond batting as well. Try to roll his arm over. You don't know when he can be successful. Well, find other ways to contribute rather than this. If he's ever going through a lead score, he needs to find a way to contribute in some other ways as well. So, look, I'm not going to harp on about it, but I guess this is the danger, right? We've seen many, and look, the best of the best have also fallen prey to this. The Yuvrajas of the world, the Kohlis of the world, they did, but credit to them. They've managed to pull their head back in. Again, credit to the families around them, the support structures. They've realized, look, it's if I want to build a career out of this, I need to step back, pull my head in, and treat it like a get as professional as possible.
Here's the question, though, for I have to ask you. With the advent of all these young kids coming through, right? What is what do the legacy players have to do? I mean, like seriously. Let me. I'll level with you here, right? There's not a chance you can put Shubman Gill into T20. There's not a chance you can put a Rishabh Pant into T20 now. There's not a chance you can put any one of those guys who are. It's you're literally you're basically hanging around the 18 to 21s, or not even
Look,
that.
I'll rephrase that slightly, Martin.
Okay.
There, you can put them in, but it requires them to perform at a higher level than how they are performing at the moment, right? Such is
Hold your
Shubman Gill.
thought there. Hold
Yeah,
your thought there. The absolute statement that you made there was they have to perform beyond or beyond what they're currently used to, right? More or
yeah.
less, I'm reframing it. But some of these guys are based have their mental thought process is running on the old operating system.
It's it's not necessarily the old operating system, Martin. Um, it is you cannot have the same game plan across three formats. And it's hard. And I guess this is the point we tried to make in our previous episode as well. You the same way you cannot have Shubman Gill or Rishabh Pant now be a part of the T20 setup. You
Mhm,
flip that script around. You
mhm.
cannot have a Vaibhav Suryawanchi come into a test format. This game plan, yes, it sounds great. It's not going to work in tests. Only
No,
because as much as T20 is cricket, it's also not cricket at the same time. Because in T20 cricket, skill can get you skill can only get you so far, right? You only need about 10 balls of brilliance to win a
yep,
game.
yep.
It definitely ain't that game in tests, right? And you cannot have that in 50 over format as well. There's
Yeah,
a
I
bit
agree.
of
I agree.
yeah.
So I guess then the question is, do we then have specialists for each of the formats? But okay, if you which you have nodded to in basically saying yes, that's what we need. Question now is, how do you fund them? Because everyone is going to go to the IPL because that's where they make their money. You go and play, you go and play 50 over cricket, or let's just say Test cricket. You're not going to get selected for the IPL because you've got a mindset that is great for the game of Test, but ain't great for this, for the 20 over shits and giggles version, right? And what ends up happening is what you're getting paid more on the shits and giggles version, and the real McCoy, which is the grandmaster chess model that is sitting right on top of the thing, you can jack bugger all. So now all of a sudden you have to figure out a compensatory compensation that will allow people to go in and play that game and they earn their money also. What do you how do you resolve that? Your microphone is off. Your microphone is off.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're back. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, my apologies. Um, put it this way, Martin. You know, 10, 10 years ago, your number three batsman in the test team was Cheteshwar Pujara, your classical test,
Oof,
right? The rock, right?
love that
Would
man. Got to
yeah,
say, I love him.
absolutely. I love him too. But would the younger generation pay to watch someone like him? No, right? I guess this is where it comes down to the BCCA again. I get the only reason I used Pujara as an example was Pujara was for all intents and purposes a test specialist. He would only play with the one, not for lack of trying, but such was his game that he could only play that format. He couldn't change. If he changed some aspect of his game, that would ruin
Yep.
his test credentials, right? Only the creme de la creme, like a Virat Kohli, the best in the business, your Steve Smiths, Kane Williamson, could have a game plan that worked across three formats. But even then, they had a use by date. Uh, look at Babar Azam, right? I mean, hey, he's struggling in the T20 format. Even someone like a Steve Smith had to reinvent his game, go and practice on range hitting to make himself relevant in the T20 format. I guess my point here is it now comes down to the BCCI to incentivize those specialist players. Now there is for the T20 generation, the IPL is your stage, right, where you
Yep.
perform, you
Hmm.
get instant recognition.
Hmm.
If they are dead serious about preserving Test cricket or enhancing Test cricket, what are they doing? What are the intentions? How are they going to, one, identify your test specialists, two, make it financially viable for a player in the newer generation to actually say, you know what, I prefer playing tests. If you and I were of this generation,
Hmm.
why in the right mind would I go, you know what, I'm going to grind out the Ranji format and make runs when I can just have a breakthrough couple of games in the IPL and get, be in the national reckoning. Look at Sarfaraz Khan. He has been banging down the doors. He almost didn't get picked up in the IPL. He then finally got picked up at base price for the Chennai Super Kings. But I guess someone like him is not even close to being on the test fringes. So
It's bizarre. I mean, look, I'll be honest with you. It's a conundrum. There's no easy solution to it
there's no easy solution. There
because the
absolutely,
the the thing is, the IPL is also a short circuit into the national team.
absolutely gives you the
Yeah,
eyeball.
given the eyeballs, right? And talking about eyeballs, just to give you a bit of numbers on the eyeballs, so the opening weekend of the IPL 2026, that 515 million viewers across linear TV and digital platforms. That's a 26% rise on the previous season.
It's
I mean,
ridiculous.
just think about it, dude. Just think about it for a minute. Just step back and think about at 26, let's just say quarter, 25% increase of viewership from last year, which was a pretty damn good year too, to this year. That's the growth.
The percentage almost belittled the numbers behind it. 25% growth, if you put it in numbers, it's a ridiculous amount of.
That's a ridiculous number. That is an insane number. To put it very bluntly, it is an absolutely insane number to look at. And if these were normal times, and I'll put it bluntly to you, and I'm going to segue in, if these are normal times, you can imagine the bargaining power of the BCCI to go in and negotiate the next contract for digital rights as well as broadcasting rights. However,
Absolutely.
we are not on normal times. We are not on normal times.
No.
We are having a major issue, a war in West Asia, which involves three nations, Iran, the
It,
United States, and Israel, with collateral damage across the Middle East, from starting from Oman all the way to Saudi Arabia, everyone getting hit. And the worst part of it all is that the Strait of Hormuz is now closed. So
the
let's
repercussions.
let's let's talk about the valuation aspects of this, right? Value Valuation is basically based on who is willing to pay the money. Let's just be blunt
Correct.
about it. All right. But if these were normal times and you see these kind of numbers, you can imagine who would be willing to pay for this and who would want to
Mhm.
advertise in that. There's a lot of organizations, companies, and corporates based out of the Middle East that would have paid big money. Like, let's just look at some of the older ones, right? Aramco, Etihad, Emirates, and all these
Emirates,
guys.
DP World.
GP, yeah, DP World, yep. And so there are some now. All of a sudden, more than likely, they're going to pull back. Right. The moment they pull back, the valuation model is shaky.
Mm.
It that becomes shaky, right? Where with a growth of 25% in audience, you would think I could give it a
Yeah,
multiplier and get
yeah,
a real good value. Now all of a sudden you're thinking, I'm not 100% sure, right? So
that's
here
right.
is and that is a problem. That is going to be a problem right down and it's going to cascade down also, because I can assure you that this IPL
Hmm.
we'll see to the end of it. There's no question about it. But the next one, if this war at the moment, if this war continues, we are in for a ride. Because I'll tell you straight up, right now, there was negotiations that was happening in Islamabad between Iran and the United States to bring the war to a close.
Which by
That
all
that that
accounts,
by all accounts now that has failed.
right?
Okay, so now we are back to the same old thing. So the strait is closed, right? Strait is closed basically means there's a lot of issues. There is one, there's no movement of oil,
Mhm.
right? The biggest oil refineries are not working to capacity, right? So now there's going to be a shortage of oil. There's a shortage of a whole lot of things: sulfur, there's a nitrogen, urea, you name it, right? Planting season is about to start in most countries, right? And there's not enough fertilizer. You can imagine what we're looking at down the line in 8 months, 9 months. All of a sudden, the prices of food is going to go through the roof.
Mhm.
So
If there's any food available at all.
exactly, right? We both live in Australia. We live in Melbourne. Let's be honest with ourselves. Diesel is now $3.30 a liter. A liter, not a gallon, a liter. Right? Petrol is I just pumped. It's $2.58 for 98.
So let's put this
Okay,
in perspective for our viewers, Martin. So $3 Australian dollars 30 for a liter of diesel would mean a normal ute, which has about 100-liter tank, it will cost them $300,
more
$330 for a full tank, right? A month ago, it will cost them, or it would have costed them half of that.
exactly.
So in
And
30
let's
days,
it in 30 days it's gone. It's
double
doubled.
it.
All right. And here's the thing that most people don't understand. I'm in Australia. We are at the bottom end of the world. The entire country is such a huge country. Everything moves via road transport. All right. And all those road transport run on diesel. They all run on diesel. So guess what? The cost of everything is going through the roof. No ifs, no buts, nothing. You can't even avoid it. And so we are looking at tough times ahead.
We are tougher. And Martin, we've only spoken about the cost. We haven't even factored in the fact that we do not even have reserves. I think
No,
the
we don't.
current estimate is we've got 30 days worth, or probably less now.
So segueing back to the IPL, the IPL model was based on no war.
Oh,
The
yeah.
cost of barrel, the cost of aviation fuel before the war started coming out of Singapore was approximately about $90 a barrel. That same barrel is now $240. Okay, $240. So imagine you have all these stadiums, all these players being flown around. The
Mm,
cost is going through the roof. That's just air.
yeah,
Now let's look at LNG. We need LNG. Most restaurants run on LNG in India.
correct.
Most hotels run on LNG in India. Everything is
Cooking
on
gas.
LNG.
Yeah,
It's cooking gas. Most of our cooking gas was coming from Qatar. Right?
that
That's
fact
gone.
is,
It's gone, skis.
yes.
Now, there's a silver lining to this. Don't get me
Is
wrong.
that
There is a silver lining to this. India has played both sides. Okay, they've played both Russia and they've played with the Middle East. So they were getting their crude from Russia. They used to get their LNG from Russia, but they moved that to Qatar, right? And now they're diversifying to all the different places. But here's the thing: Qatar is offline, right? They can't get it. So let's park that for a second. So they're going to get all the LNG from the Russians, which they will. But the thing that we have to take into account is the cost is going to go through the roof.
Yes,
Because at the end
yeah,
of the day, if you're going to get one decent supply who can assure you the supply, they're going to charge for it.
correct. Yeah,
Previously, where we used to get a discount because there was sanctions put on Russia, and so Russia wanted to sell crude,
yeah.
and they were looking for people to buy, and they were willing to give a discount. They don't have to. So there's someone else on the sidelines willing to pay them more,
Top dollar. Yeah, it's
to pay
simple
them for top
economics.
dollar,
Demand.
right? So at the end of the day, what we're looking at is a situation where how is this IPL going to? I mean, this IPL midway, if this war continues midway, they
Yeah,
will have to reassess,
absolutely.
and I think they will have to bring the number of the tournaments will stay, but they'll play within a certain number of uh, stadiums. So it won't be as diversified like Guwahati one day
Yeah,
and
yeah.
one end of the
And
country the other
Chennai,
day,
Chennai the other
Chennai the
day.
other day.
Yeah.
No, they'll have to do it like how they did the women's, keep it
Mm.
nice and centralized,
Oh,
right?
that's what they did during COVID as well.
Yep.
Kept it to about three stadiums.
To keep it nice and central. That's the way one way they can do it, and then keep them all in within. Um, I mean, nobody. It's franchise cricket. Everybody wants to be at their home base, but they will have to move them
No, the
to.
reality is it is.
Yeah. So
Here,
this is going to create, and then there's the other aspect of it: international players. The
mm,
whole of the Middle East airspace is closed off because you don't want to fly over it.
mm,
And let's not forget that if you're coming from the United States and everything on that side of the time, the Caribbean, previously the easier route was to fly over Russia. That was also been shut off, and the only airline that can use it is Air India,
mm.
by the way. So there is a lot of drama that is happening, and
Yes.
then we're left in this very narrow scheme, very narrow space in which you're playing things, right?
Yeah.
So it is it is so. I guess
Here's
what
my
I'm trying to
question to you.
drive at
Sorry,
is
yeah.
under normal circumstances, with an opening weekend of 500 million plus people viewing it and a 26 or 25% increase in audience participation, you would have seen a
Yeah.
phenomenal rights
Oh,
agreement for the next one.
yeah.
But in these circumstances, I'm not 100% sure you will even get the same numbers as the last
I
one.
I
And
agree,
that's
Mark.
where I am. So I don't know. I'll leave it. I'll ask you. What are
No,
your thoughts on it?
no, I couldn't agree more. I'm actually not even half as optimistic as you are. My thoughts were, Martin. If the Indian government is going to purchase LNG at a premium, it comes down to the way I look at it as the layman is comes down to priorities. If you were buying that, you sort of then because the common man in India is limited in their LNG supply, right? Majority of the homes still run on LNG. Would you then prioritize that to give it and give it that to the tournament or distribute it amongst the public masses? Or as a common man, would you be happy saying, "Oh, at least the IPL is going ahead unaffected. I don't care if I'm not getting a lot in my kitchen. I don't care. I can work around it, but as long as the IPL goes ahead."
Well, look, I'll answer that. So the government has come in and said, basically, they have invoked the Essentials Commodities Act.
That's
In
right.
in it, all right. Well, they're prioritizing domestic household over commercial entities like the IPL franchises. So the downstream effect on that is that you go into a stadium where you would see all the guys selling samosas and drinks and things like drinks will be fine. It's going to be a problem, but the silver lining to this, again, I'll talk about silver lining,
That's good.
is that where it was easier to get cooking gas, people are going to switch across to
Induction.
electricity
Right.
and they will move to induction
Which
heating.
puts more pressure on the grid.
It will put a lot of pressure on the grid. Correct?
The other thing we've just sorry, man, I'll let you finish and I'll tell you.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
they
go.
put a lot of pressure on the grid, right? So, but that's basically where it's going. I mean, me and you, I'm from Kerala, you're from Kerala. In my house, we have LNG, but we also have firewood. We still use firewood.
But those are the
And
ancestral homes, Martin. The
these are
new
ancestral
homes,
homes here.
apartments, they can't.
Oh, yeah, in the apartments, you
Oh,
definitely cannot.
right.
So, what options do you have?
Well, I was just going to say as well, one thing we haven't factored in as well is with the pressure on the electricity grid, is the fact that we are coming into, especially in India, especially south of India, we are coming into peak summer. April, May is peak summer in India, which means
Indeed, yeah.
people will need the air conditioning running and all of that. And temperatures have been rising, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, on top of your cooking challenges, you are now it yeah it's all snowballing into a it's all
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
snowballing.
it is, there is going to be a lot of challenges. I mean, there was a, what what I was going to say was the model, most of the model, aviation model is based, I'll talk aviation here.
Mhm.
That's also something that I'm quite passionate about, is hub and spoke.
Yeah,
You know, and basically the Emirate, I mean, the Gulf region were the hub, they were
correct,
the logistics hubs, and then was a spoke model at the end, right?
correct.
And what you're now having, or what, but the situation now is that without these guys, we're now looking at a situation that is really, really problematic. So the cost of ticket will go through the roof. One is because of that, and two is the distances,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
right?
exactly.
And so we, to bring in say a Caribbean player to play in India
Yeah,
would be challenging in
we
all said and done,
absolutely,
right? Right?
absolutely.
Be exceptionally challenging, and this is quite evident by the fact that after the World Cup, after during the World Cup, when the West
When
Indies
West
had to
Indies
leave,
were eliminated in the semi-finals,
they take us to what happened to them.
well, they was I want to use the word stranded, but they could not find a way home
Yeah,
for 10 days
there you
after
go.
they were eliminated. Only because back if we remember correctly, that's when the war broke out and the Middle East airspace had shut down. So they had
Indeed.
no flight, they had no commercial flights. Now the English cricket board, the English team again was the other semi-finalists, but
Mm.
they managed to get out quicker than the others. But they managed to secure a chartered plane. Now I'm not sure if the ECB pitched in as well. Now ECB is one of the more wealthier boards. I dare say the WICB didn't have enough funds to sort of organize a plane, chartered flight
Yeah,
for its players, right? But here's
England will be fine in a certain aspect. Look, you talk about it. Or you will have to route it through Singapore, right?
hmm, I guess my point is they were a wealthy board. That was a national team. We're
Yeah.
coming to a franchise model where it's individual players. You cannot have a charter unless you have a bunch of Caribbean cricketers.
So now the question is with the IPL, one, we have a situation, a real situation where broadcasting rights are going to be a problem, where people pay money for it
Mm,
because of the uncertainty of what's happening. One,
correct.
and and so the valuation itself is going to be a problem. We'll see how that works out. But the second aspect of it is the players.
Mhm.
Why the IPL is successful is not because of the local players, it's because they get the best of the best from across the world,
Creme de la creme.
creme de la creme, right? Which now brings in the situation, how are they going to bring these guys across from the world to come and play here, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because you now have a situation where certain countries, literally will be very hard to
Mhm.
come across. It'll be like a 3 to 4 day journey, bunny hopping your way
Not
through the world.
correct.
Yeah, it's not as if you can fly in and fly out kind of a thing. It's not that, right? And the second aspect of it is the uncertainty, right? The
Mm,
uncertainty that can
exactly.
come out, because it's one thing to fly into your own country, to a country and play, and in the middle of it everything goes tits up, right? And all of a sudden you're like, I need to fly through
Right.
here, I can't fly through there.
How do I get back home?
How do I get back home?
Yeah.
Right?
And
If you're coming from Australia, it's okay in the sense you can fly directly to India. That's not a problem. But if you're coming from the other side of the town, it is a problem.
yeah,
It is a
absolutely.
problem, right?
It sure is.
So that, we are in really unprecedented times. And
Unprecedented.
if anybody says it's like COVID times, COVID is child's
No,
play.
it yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, COVID was unprecedented times as well, but there was a lot of control. The catch here again, I'm speaking for the common man here, Martin. There is nothing that you and I or any government, you know, could be prepared for in this circumstance. The effects of the war has reached down to the common person, regardless of where you're geographically located. The war may be happening in West Asia, but the effects have been felt all the way down to the southernmost tip of the globe. Really,
Hmm.
yes,
I
now
no
the
joke.
thing
It
is,
is. It is. It. I mean, I look. Me and you live in Australia.
mhm,
We know what we're facing here.
correct,
As we said, it's $3.30 per liter for diesel
and rising.
and rising. Now the next thing is we're going to face more than likely odds and even, right? Where the government will come in and say odds and even number plates, odds on this date, evens on this day, right? And the next thing after that, if this thing doesn't stop, is the capped an amount you can pump into your car. All right. So
That's right.
imagine the economic effect of that on trade. And I'm talking tradespeople here, like plumbers, sparkies,
Yeah,
sparky,
farmer.
delivery,
Yeah,
everything. So imagine what's going to happen there. So we are looking at a situation that is really, really scary
very simple.
for us.
Think of the
Now,
scariest situation, times it by tens.
yeah, it's a scary situation, right? So it makes it really challenging. And imagine, and we're talking a first world country here. That's Australia, the UK, and everybody's going to be facing the
Mm,
same challenges. Why? Why? If let me put it this way: if there was no restriction on the Russians, the Russia-Ukraine war, and everything was done, we it could have been a problem, but would not have been a major problem. Everybody would have said, "Oh, let's adjust. We'll get it from the Russians until this thing settles down." Problem is, the Russians have also
not a war
basically said they
themselves.
stopped supplying Europe. So let's look at Europe as itself. Europe was getting all its gas, LNG, gas and energy from Russia. They cut it off. They went to the Americans and the Qataris. Now Qatar is off, so you go to the Americans. So now all of a sudden, your energy cost is gone through the roof. All right, because there's not the easiest one to get was the Russians, but you cut off your nose to spite them. Now guess what? You're in trouble. All right,
And,
so
yeah.
I can tell you this is not fun times.
No, it is. And the scary thing is, again, speaking for the layman, we don't know what the end result looks like. It is every day you think this is as bad as it gets. A couple of hours later, you realize, "Oh, hang on, that's another fact I haven't thought of." The domino effect is just insane, insane.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I talk about the effects of the choking of the Strait of Hormuz in the last episode, where I talked about helium and sulfuric acid and nitrogen and urea. These are things, these are fundamental building blocks of a current society. Helium is used in for microchips. You need that, right? To to sulfuric acid, where you need it in your copper in all your mines,
Yes.
right? You need it in your mines because sulfur byproducts of sulfur. So imagine where you are now mining for copper or tin or whatever it is that you want, and you don't have sulfuric acid, which is fundamentally required for you to process it. What do you think is going to happen? Right? And that's something I've discussed. So for those of you who find this fascinating, go and look at the previous episode, is which I've talked about. But what I'm trying to drive at is these are very strange times.
Mm.
And I don't know. Look, let's enjoy it while it's there. Is all I can say.
I,
And you
I,
have to live by the moment.
yes, yeah,
Live
it's
by the moment rather than planning it out because God only knows what is going to happen.
correct.
Right?
I um I just thought of it, just trying to bring back the discussion into cricket, Martin.
Yeah. Go
I know
for it.
you said you think the IPL this edition at least will go ahead. I'm almost again being a bit of a doomsday conspiracy.
Hmm.
One, the way I look at it as well, I'm keen to get your thoughts on it. What's stopping a franchise from now saying, Mr. Player, I know we bought you for 1.1 million. The reality is we can't pay you that now. Unfortunately, it's weird circumstances. We can't pay you that 1.1 million now. Everything's gone up. We'll have to defer your payments for later. The knockdown effect there is a player now going, well, why am I going to risk my life and now play from this if I'm not going to get my payment in full? I'm again just hypotheticals at this stage. Nothing's confirmed. There's nothing to suggest. Well, there's plenty to suggest, but there's nothing to sort of say that this is how it's going to go down. What's stopping the franchise from saying, yes, I promised you 1.1 mil. I can only pay you 6 months from now. We're deferring payments. What's the incentive
And
for a franchise?
the double whammy for international players is also the valuation part of it, with the rupees
Mm,
falling dramatically.
correct. Yes.
Okay.
And all these contracts have been negotiated in US dollars.
Yep. So all these contracts are negotiated in US dollars. So I can say, look, this is one thing I can definitely say for sure. The IPL will definitely happen in 2027. There'll be more local players because they only have to play in local currencies, right? If this war continues, right? That is the direction it will take. The venues will be dramatically reduced, and they will all be husbanded into places where they can cart them around very quickly.
You know what's the other thing I just realized now?
Mm.
We've only looked at it from an IPL lens. 2027 is a ODI World Cup year in South Africa.
Look, if this continues, I don't know whether it will continue, mate, because
Exactly.
South Africa may not have the
It's,
funds to fund it.
it's just simple as that.
Because I mean,
Absolutely.
broadcasting
Yeah,
rights are something else, right?
bro, that, you need all of these resources to support the public.
Correct.
I forget, let alone host. What's the
Well, I
point of
mean,
hosting all
we'll
the
come to that. We'll come to that when it comes to it, and we can then talk about it. But if this current situation continues
time?
as it is, and the blockade that continues to happen, and every country goes and negotiates privately with Iran, and that's where it's going to end up. Every country will go and start negotiating with Iran privately, and Iran will set the terms of their negotiations. I can tell you right now, it's going to be a nightmare. It's going to be a nightmare.
It is a nightmare.
Yeah. I mean, there are people saying, "Oh, India is diversified and they're now getting from 20 places to 40 places, or whatever it is that where it is." It's just not India that you have to look at, mate. It's
Yeah,
everyone else,
it's the
right?
world. Exactly right. It's not.
It's the
It's not
world. It's
one.
we are one village at the end of the day.
Correct.
Yes, in that
Yes.
village, India is a village in that aspect, and maybe we'll do better than others. Who knows? God only knows. I can't tell. But I can tell you, if the rest of the village is also sick, it's not really going to be helpful.
The world's on fire.
Indeed, yeah, indeed. And it's called the Tata IPL, and Tata will always be there. It has seen countless ups and downs, so they will always be there. But
I
they'll
just
be.
hope.
I don't think they will be willing to pony up 2,500 crores, which they did for the previous one. I'll just probably say, yeah, we'll pony up probably 1,000 crores.
Martin, I just thought of it now, and you said it as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. Tata, ponied up 250 crore, 250,000,
2,500 crores, yeah.
2,500 crores for the rights of the IPL. Let's
Mm.
see. Tata has only just taken over Air India as well. They paid an arm and a leg. So they are. Any way you look at it, that's a truckload of money that they have to pony up. And if the
Yeah,
aviation
yeah.
sector is
Oh no.
struggling,
Oh, the aviation stars. And look, this is a reset.
mm,
Let's not kid ourselves. This is a complete reset from the old model, which is funny. We're saying old model now. Barely 4 weeks ago, it was considered the current model. Now it's the old model. The old economic model of where you're getting everything from different parts of the world, and it's all an interconnected uh,
society.
interconnected economy. You're right now looking at individualized economy now, and that's where we're going to be headed. Because no one expected this, right?
No, and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. You
This
got it.
this this model was predicated on the fact that everyone lived in harmony and everybody did kumbaya.
Yeah,
And I'm grateful that it lasted for 25 plus 35 years after the end of 19. When did the Berlin Wall come down and everything came apart and there was no more divided world? Wherever that happened, and then
yeah.
from that now. But now we're looking at a situation where, yeah, that's all over, and it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
And let's not forget also is that countries like India, China have an obligation to make sure the guys downstream are not starving.
Correct. That's exactly right. Yeah, you're spot on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So we in our neighborhood, we can't just pretend that we are an island on our own. We have to make sure the guys around the corner is also living. So the likes of Sri Lanka, the likes of Maldives, the likes of Bhutan, the likes of Nepal, the likes of Bangladesh, and all these guys are getting diesel. There's enough to go around. Everyone, everyone's going to come hitting on us. But the fact of the matter is, it's going to be really, really bloody hard. The, well, the economic model that we went on to
mm.
has to be reviewed.
It's reviewed, rewritten.
And the currency where everything was predicated on the US dollar will also be reviewed.
Of course. Absolutely.
And we'll either go on a basket of currencies or they'll create a currency
Yeah.
that is a
It,
tradable currency, tradable ledger, but will not be dependent on them. It'll be a couple of countries controlling it.
it has to
I don't
be.
know how they'll go do it, but they'll have to
Yeah.
work out something very quickly because this can't continue.
No, it can't. Eh, put it this way: with every day,
Mm,
the downstream effect is a multiplier.
indeed, indeed. And that's where it's going to be problematic, especially with the for the IPL where the valuation is going to be a problem now
Mm,
if this continues,
absolutely,
because
absolutely.
and it's well, I mean, we might all be proved wrong, and who
Look,
knows?
and that, I think you're spot on, Martin. That's not to say this is the dire reality of the situation. Like you said, humans are a resilient bunch. We've been through worse. We've come out the other end. Um, but what you've done, if anything, this episode has taught us is never take anything for granted. It's
No,
very easy to say, yeah, I think it's like you said, any economic decision from here on will have a lot of fine print attached to it moving forward. The insurance premiums will be through the roof now.
indeed, indeed.
Player contracts will have much bigger insurance premiums. So it's
Oh yeah, there'll be demands for the cash to be paid up front if there's
correct.
before they turn up. I mean, even flying would have the con
Yeah,
the because when previously when you flew to another country, you would get what you call travel insurance.
correct.
And I know for a fact that you can, if you're going to Bali or something like that, you get a travel insurance was pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah,
You paid $94, get a comprehensive one for 30, 40 days, and that was Bob's your uncle.
yeah.
I guarantee you that is not the case
Mm.
now. Because if they had to evacuate you out of there,
Mm.
Bali is not a hard thing, but I mean,
No, no, but yeah, that's whatever the
but just
yeah,
giving you that example, it's just problems everywhere.
yeah. Oh, if the airspace closes,
Insurance
yeah,
is once insurance starts getting shaky, I swear to God, everything stops. And
everything.
look, Strait of Hormuz. It's not because the Iranians have stopped. Let's be brutally honest. It's nothing to do. Yes, the Iranians dropped it, but the real reason why these things have stopped is simply because Lloyd's of London stopped insuring. All right, they're not going to pay your insurance now. The alternative to that is sovereign insurance, or what you call countries guaranteeing their vessels going through. But I guarantee you, say for example, the Australian vessels, and they're all guaranteed by the government, two of them be sunk. You think the Australian government is going to be
Yeah,
that open?
no, I never
That's
even
where
thought
we
about
are.
that. That's insane.
That's where we are. Now, that's all doom and gloom. And, we started with a high, and I don't want to end with the doom and gloom.
Mm.
So I want you to take us through what are some of the things we can look out for in 2026 that will all make us really happy.
Look, for starters, uh, for you and
I
I,
guess I'm
in
applying the hamburger rule here.
the hamburger rule, yeah,
Yeah, we
um,
start with the positive. We put the bun, the
the
patty in
big,
the middle, which was
yeah,
the negative shit, and then let's end up with the positive shit.
right. At this stage, the only positive I can think of is you and I being in the southern hemisphere in Australia, in Melbourne. I was just hoping
Yeah,
that there's some fuel there, enough that we can afford a hamburger. But look,
very true.
I think it it sounds like all doom and gloom. It's more or less, it's a bit of a reality check. Um, look, don't mean to go into a bit of a philosophical sort of spiral here, but really it is, these are unprecedented times. Enjoy the cricket for what it is. We don't know what tomorrow is
Enjoy.
going to look like. Yeah, just take it in. Yeah, again, using a cricketing example here, though, someone like an Abhishek Sharma could not buy a run in the T20 um, tournament, T20 World Cup. Finally delivered when it mattered.
Hmm.
Sanju Samson had a horrible tournament, but then delivered back-to-back match winning performances. So something has to give. It may seem won't seem great at the time, but hopefully, this is a rewriting of things. Um, the positives to look out for is the new generation of the new brand of cricket that's coming through. Um,
Indeed,
right, it
the
is.
violence of intent model with the maximization of
I,
returns
I
per
dare say
ball
even
delivered.
that. I dare say that's even that's going to be rewritten, right? It'll be it's not even violence of intent. It's going to be the maximization of resources. Um, and in all of this, right, there's one thing we've talked about is the batting, right? we, it's the worst time to be a bowler, right? But what this hopefully evolutionary change is bowlers developing newer skills to
Indeed.
restrict the batsman, right? Yes, whilst it's a road, they just come up with another bag of tricks
Yeah.
to get not necessarily to get the batsman out, but to restrict the flow of runs
Yeah.
with weird and funky ways. So, that's hoping to add to the innovation that the T20 format brings.
Indeed. Indeed. Yeah, it's gonna. We're looking at interesting times. Fantastic IPL so far. I
Mhm.
mean, it's been pure cinema. Again, I'll say that it's been pure cinema to watch. But in the middle of it all, we need this cinema and distraction to take us our minds off what's currently
While it
happening
lasts, while it
while it
lasts,
lasts.
yeah.
We need
Uh,
that,
mm.
and yeah, I mean,
But look,
it's
we can just pray for cooler heads to prevail, Martin. You and I,
indeed.
that's it. We
Mm.
just sit there. Again, this is not doom and gloom. This is just the reality. This is the nature of the world we're in at the moment.
Hmm.
We'll see what comes of it.
Indeed. All right. On that lovely note, I am going to say see you later. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate everything. To
Pleasure.
our subscribers, thank you very much for coming back and watching us talk about the IPL as well as a little bit of geopolitics. For those of you who are new, if you could give us a thumbs up and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. And Those of you who are really passionate about things, tell us what we need to talk about. Give
Mm,
us some feedback that allows us to actually take what you're telling us on board and then recalibrate and deliver the message in a much better format if that is what you want.
absolutely.
Or if you need more incisive thoughts on certain things, we're more than happy to basically indulge you guys. That's what we're here for. I just want to say a big thank you to my co-host, Vinny, who
Pleasure.
obviously every time I've reached out to him and I've said, mate, let's do something, he's always graciously accepted and come on board to do this. You guys have no idea, I mean, how much bribery and corruption takes here. Because I tell you that, right? If you knew that, then you make an African dictator, you know, turn
Big
to
mistake to open
shrink.
this trade of Hormuz.
Yeah, indeed. In this kind of almost. So I just want to say a big thank you to everyone. But Vinny, the last words to you, brother.
Man, always a pleasure to be on this podcast, Martin. Like you said, if anything, as much as we talk about the IPL as a distraction, this podcast is a bit of a distraction on a personal level as well.
Indeed.
It as I've mentioned, reiterated many times on previous episodes as well, at the end of the day, you and I are mates. So it's always easy to have a conversation from that point of view. You are an expert when it comes to the geopolitics. So it's always interesting to see how these things are interconnected. As much as you think they're devoid, we always talk about, sport and politics being devoid of each other. On a macro level, it's insane how these things are all interconnected. So look, puts things into perspective, but always a pleasure being on the podcast, Martin. Look, happy to be on at the drop of a hat.
And indeed, on that lovely note, for those of you who are seeing it for the first time, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much. Welcome to Borders and Beyond. Please subscribe, give us a thumbs up. We'll see you in the next episode on that bombshell. We will see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye for now.